Just busy pre-ordering Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and Smash Brothers Ultimate. Not Battlefield 5 though.
Well, not Battlefield 5. Why not? If you're on a roll.
Oh, Keith, it's actually quite simple. Because I hate winning.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Game Talk. My name's Keith.
My name's Will.
Will, you, based on what I see in the monitor, have an eye patch today.
Did.
You have something there?
Did. I still have both eyes, but this is just a glass Coke top, because we got some glass Cokes today.
Yeah, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. It just looks good aesthetically.
Yeah. We were talking about that on the way in, how good a glass Coke looks. Simpler times.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Keith, today we are talking about Battlefield 5.
My favorite game.
Yeah, right?
I will say I have a history with Battlefield. I really enjoyed 3. I got in at 3. I played a butt ton of 4 with with Matt Reed, and he was really my only Battlefield 4 buddy because he was all into it in college. Played a lot of Battlefield 4 in college. I used to play Battlefield 4 and set up Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart on repeat to play as a soundtrack. That's awesome. I thought that was the funniest thing when I was sitting there doing it.
Yeah.
For some reason, it resonated with me. I love that song unironically. B, it was a good soundtrack to shooting people in Battlefield 4 for some reason, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I can see the humor to it. You can make a good music video out of that, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. My only experience with Battlefield is really, Battlefield 1943. It was like Battlefield 1942 was a PC game, and then they put it on Xbox Live Arcade in like 2009 and called it Battlefield 1943, and it's pretty good. It was a fun little like bite size. You only had like 3 weapons. It was like a really like shrunken down version of Battlefield, but I liked it. Don't have a whole lot of experience with Battlefield though. But we're not talking about the game Battlefield necessarily. We're talking about a very interesting tidbit, Keith, which is that the pre-orders are down from Battlefield 4 85%.
Wow.
85%.
They're down. The prices are down.
The rate of people pre-ordering.
Excuse me. Okay, yeah. The pre-order rate. Gotcha.
There are 85% less people pre-ordering Battlefield 5 than Battlefield 4.
That's amazing. I don't want to stop you again, but I do want to point out that like I would never, as a connoisseur of video games for a long time, before this year even, I would never have thought that I would be sitting down at a table discussing news like this, like video game business. Never would have thought that. I'm pleased to be here. But I never would have thought that.
Feel good?
Yeah, it feels not like I never thought I'd care.
Yeah, it's interesting though.
And at the end of the day, do I really care how Battlefield's doing business-wise? No, I really don't.
I'm not making any money.
But if it was something that I really liked, I mean, I guess I would care. But my whole thing is like, if I like something, I want to be able to buy it. That's all you got to provide for me as a business. I don't care how many other people buy it, but I know that other people buying it is required for me to have it. Yeah. So. Anyway, back to business. I just want to say, never would have thought that. I'm pleased to be here.
All right. Well, also pleased to be here, Keith. There are reasons why. There's one big reason why. I think there might be a few other reasons. Like a big one for me is that the past 3 years, I would say, we've been moving away not from shooters, but we've been moving away from more like realistic, based in reality kind of shooters. Like your Call of Duty, your Battlefield's fallen off a little bit. 2016, Overwatch was a phenomenon. But we didn't even know what a phenomenon was until Fortnite hit us last year.
Right, correct.
Neither of those are realistic shooters. They're not Battlefield-esque. They're not Call of Duty-esque even, really.
And it's wild. It's kind of wild that the player base for Fortnite being a cartoony, unrealistic sci-fi shooter being so wide.
That you can just build out of nothing.
Yeah.
Like build things in front. It's crazy that it's so... You know how many players are for Fortnite, Keith?
I don't.
125 million.
That is too many.
That's insane. That's like, I don't want to do some quick math here. That's like 1/70th of the population of the planet Earth, almost. That's accounting for all the people that don't even have electricity. Like, that's crazy.
It is crazy. And for me, I don't see it. I don't really like the multiplayer.
I think a big part of it is
anymore.
that it's free.
Yeah.
And that everyone else is playing it, and it's like a social thing.
It is.
It's
definitely.
so easy to just hang out with your friends and play Fortnite. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we don't necessarily need to trash on Fortnite.
I really ought to get into it. I'll at least try it.
We could probably have a good time playing it, I would say. But even Overwatch, like I thought Overwatch was really big in 2016. That game to this day has about 35 million players. So that's a fourth of what Fortnite has. Crazy. But anyway, so
it's
I think
a bubble, baby. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. It's a
just
bubble.
Waiting for it to pop. So I think that's kind of a big reason about it. I think it would be disingenuous to say that what we're about to go into is the only reason that the pre-orders are down. I think people just aren't feeling that kind of shooter necessarily as much anymore. We had 10, 15 years of just every year Battlefield of Call of Duty.
Man, how many times can you do it?
Right?
How many times is it fulfilling for me to just have a different gun to shoot someone with? Because if you're going to be realistic, like we're talking about, the whole realistic shooter you're talking about, that's not fanciful, not sci-fi. Even the way Call of Duty is going, they're going sci-fi.
Yeah.
And they have been for a while. But Battlefield is we want to be more realistic. And that's the whole thing is, there's a core group of people who want the bullet drop. There's a core group of people who want realistic guns and everything. But how many times can you hand me a different gun and say, hey, now shoot somebody with this year and give me $60 for that?
Yeah.
How many times is that fulfilling?
And that we're going back to World War II again. After Call of Duty just did it last year. I think that might be part of it too. Also, like, I think that they might as well just go ahead and get into the big controversy. You might have remembered this whenever we talked a little bit about the Battlefield trailer during our E3 video, but we literally just glossed over it because neither of us are big Battlefield fans.
Sure.
But you know how in the single player trailer, the protagonist seemed to be a woman. And that's not even the problem that I necessarily have with it. The problem that I have is that she has a hook arm. Did you notice that?
I'll be honest. I'm at the point where I'm asking the question: how many times can this be fun? And I'm past that. I don't think it's going to be great for me again. I doubt I'll buy Battlefield 5. So I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention.
Yeah, Keith, to be honest, until this story broke, I didn't even know that she had a hook arm until I went back and rewatched it last night, and I was like, wow, that's really weird.
She does have a hook arm.
She has a hook arm, which, if they want to be historically accurate, because that's what a lot of people are upset about. Because, like we said, the Battlefield community is concerned with realism.
Sure.
And the creator came out and said, well, there actually were women in World War II. That is a fact. Another fact is there were 400,000 women in World War II, 16 million men.
Right.
So even if they wanted to focus on one of those 300,000 women and make her the protagonist of the game, I have no problem with it. Where I have a problem with it, already you're making it kind of political, though. There's a reason they chose it to be.
Yeah.
It's not, I would never disparage someone trying to tell their own story. If they really want to tell a story about a female soldier, that's fine. But where it starts becoming like just blatantly political is where she's got the hook arm.
Yeah.
Like that's where you're injecting current day politics and diversity and stuff into World War II, the most significant event in human history. They weren't concerned with this kind of stuff. They didn't have a quota to fill. They didn't need a hook-armed lady in the war to fill some kind of quota back then. You're just polluting World War II with the
right. But the whole thing, like, imagine you're in World War II. Hitler is commanding an army of Nazis. They're not just trying to conquer land. They're committing genocide on a whole race of people. People are dying by the millions, and it has to stop. A woman with her hook hand raises her arm if she is in the infantry, which I'm not trying to disparage anything either, but I'm trying let's be realistic.
Yeah.
A female in the 1940s in the barracks or whenever someone says we need someone to hit the front lines and kill a bunch of people, a woman with a hook arm raise her hand? No, there's only laughter in that room.
And in 1942, they tell her to get back to the kitchen.
Exactly. And it is people are clicking away right now, but the point is that you'd have to be realistic about it. You're right that it's the 1940s, and I don't think that necessarily happens. Again, if there is a story, I'm sure there are stories of brave heroines back in 1943 in the war that probably did kill a lot of people.
Yeah, and if they want to tell that story, she probably didn't have a hook arm. But if they want to tell that story, I'm not going to tell them they can't. And I mean, Rosie the Riveter, we can do it. I have no problem. Any woman that helped out in World War II, God bless you.
Yeah.
But the thing where it gets really dicey, so people had an issue with that.
Dude, tell me that pun was intended. Dicey.
It wasn't. That was good. Okay, but dicey. Okay, this is where it gets a little icky, though, Keith.
Okay, icky and sticky.
Because, I'm getting this from VG 24/7. And it says...
Respectable outlet.
Yeah. It says... so Patrick Soderlund comes out, and after E3, after that trailer comes out, it's got the dislike ratio, I would say, on YouTube is about a third likes, 2/3 dislikes. So it had a pretty vocal backlash to it. I guess this Gama Sutra is this magazine or publication or something. They were interviewing him after
Gama
that.
Sutra.
Gama Sutra? Whatever.
I don't know.
They were interviewing him, and I guess they brought up this backlash. And this is where I'm going to give you some quotes, Keith.
Oh, boy.
He says...
You're putting me in the danger zone because I'm going to offend people, I think.
Says... I might offend people. He says, this is something that the development team pushed, Soderlund told Gamasutra during an E3 interview. Quote, Battlefield 5 is a lot about the unseen, the untold, the unplayed. The common perception is that there were no women in World War II. There were a ton of women who both fought in World War II and partook in the war. After explaining the creative reasoning, Soderlund moved into personal examples. Here we go, Keith.
No.
I have a 13-year-old daughter that when the trailer came out and she saw the flag, she asked me, "Dad, why is this happening?" He continued. She plays Fortnite, and she says, "I can be a girl in Fortnite. Why are people upset about this? ... I just said, you know what? You're right. This is not okay." There are people...
We're drawing some pretty stark, like some pretty distant comparisons here.
It's getting worse, Keith.
Oh, no.
These are people who are uneducated. They don't understand that this is a plausible scenario.
Oh, no. He's calling me uneducated.
He's calling people uneducated for saying that there probably wasn't a woman on the front lines with a hook arm in World War II.
No, I didn't dislike the video, so I guess he's not talking to me.
Yeah, probably not you particularly. But if you saw this video, I think he actually quit recently.
He's no longer there.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. I feel like based on the podcast I was listening to, they said that the details are unclear.
Okay. Then he goes on to say, listen, this is a game based on World War II in a historically realistic video game series. Yes. This is a game. And today, gaming is... That was a little Will interjection. I'm going to keep you on the quotes here.
Keep us on the quotes.
Listen, this is a game. And today, gaming is gender diverse like it hasn't ever been before. There are a lot of female people who want to play and male players who want to play as a badass woman. And we don't take any flack. We stand up for the cause because I think those people who don't accept it, well, you have two choices. Either accept it or don't buy the game. I'm fine with either. It's just not okay.
Nope, you're not fine with it.
People called him on it, and pre-orders are down. He said, you don't like it, don't buy the game. 85% less people are buying it than Battlefield 4.
Oh, boy.
Don't call out the internet. Don't do it. They will call you on your bluff.
Yes. It has happened before. It has happened before where people... I can't give you an example, but I know it's happened. Is that people will step to the internet and they'll say, come get me. Mm-hmm. They'll say, you're just the internet. You're just a bunch of neckbeards in your basements that are upset about this woman being on the cover of Battlefield, and we don't need you. Guess what? The population of the internet is too strong, and there's the internet is a Death Star that all you have to point at. You just have to point it at something. You have to point it at something, and you have to get a sweaty guy with a neckbeard on the button, and he's ready to push it. He's always ready to push it, and they all push it at the same time, and planets get destroyed.
Yes, the EA planet is being destroyed for the second year in a row.
Dude.
Keith.
They were hoping.
They were hoping.
They were like, we didn't give you Darth Vader for free. We didn't give you the cool character that you wanted for free in Battlefield Front. We experienced hell's fire for that. So we're going to give you more than you wanted. We're going to give you a woman with a hook arm.
That's, Keith, part of my conspiratorial thinking.
And they overcorrect.
Yeah, part of my conspiratorial thinking is that they were in damage control mode because of the whole loot box thing with Battlefront. And they were like, how can we be the good guys? They apparently didn't pay attention to Gamergate 5 years ago because gamers do not like this politicizing of video games.
Yeah,
we don't.
We don't like it.
And so in their effort to be the good guys by, most video games are made in California, very lefty. They're kind of in a little bit of a bubble. So
lefty bubble.
From their point of view, the way to be a good guy is to put women in World War II. And that backfired.
It sure did.
I think that really backfired. So just really interesting story.
Remind me of Gamergate, if you would.
Gamergate, it was a kind of a thing going on with... I think there was one big issue that it was focused on, but there were a lot of similar instances happening at the same time. It was basically a bunch of people were... It was kind of like the same thing that happened with comics, where a bunch of people that don't even play video games or don't even read comics get upset about that there's not enough diversity in these games, and they start writing about it when they don't even play the games, and start making demands, telling creators what to create, just to fit quotas whenever they don't even enjoy the medium.
That, dude.
We don't like it. We just want to play a game. People
shouldn't like that. I don't think anybody should like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and place for it.
Nobody likes to be told what to make when you think you're making art. Like this is my thing to make. But when you're EA and it's a big game, you want to pander. But the whole thing is that you want to pander to the right audience.
For sure.
The people who have their money out, and there are people every year who just have $60 in their hand, and they're waiting for somebody with the Battlefield name on it to come by and take it from them. And there's not a whole lot you have to give them. You have to give them bullet drop.
Yeah.
You have to give them vehicles, and you have to give them big maps. And it has to look real good. That's all they want. That's all we want. That's all I wanted. I didn't even want vehicles, but you gave them to me. I suck at vehicles in Battlefield, but it's the whole thing where like. when I have my money outstretched to you and you say, I don't want that money if you're like you. I'm not giving you what you want. I'm not giving you what you expect. Like if you bring me your money with a little bit of criticism, like, oh, we know what we're doing. We don't want.
Yeah, just that attitude, like that list you said where they want bullet drop, they want vehicles, they want big maps. Nowhere on that list. They don't want political grandstanding. They don't want you to call them uneducated when you don't like a decision they made.
Right.
That's
that's a big hit.
That's so snarky and this is what is this guy's title again? Let me look at it. Chief.
This is Peter Soderlund?
Yes, this is Peter Soderlund, the man. EA Electronic Arts Chief Design Officer. That's not good messaging. You don't tell your customers, you don't call them uneducated and then say don't buy it. What he could have done, Keith, he could have said, "Hey, I understand that, some people have issues. They may have issues with some historical accuracies in this, but just come along with us on the ride. We're gonna blow you away with great gameplay, tell us what's great about it. Don't say that people are uneducated because they don't like something about it, and then tell them not to buy the game because they're not going to buy the game."
You should have just said something like, "We want to tell a great story here. Like there were women in World War II, and we want to tell a very cool story, like that maybe you haven't thought about or whatever. That could have been possible." But yeah. You crossed the line when you said you're uneducated if you don't like this.
Yeah, and he was almost going there. He was saying, this is the story we want to tell. It starts off okay. There's the makings of a good argument in there, but then he just goes on the attack, and it's not a good look.
The whole thing, it amazes me when people like you're the chief whatever design officer of EA, one of the biggest media companies in the world. Yeah, certainly for games.
First games,
huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. And you're already coming off the backlash of last year with the Battlefront thing or whatever. You're not selling sweaters with cats on them. Like if I knit sweaters and I've got my sweater van at the market with cats on them, and you walk by and you say, "I don't like cats, I like dogs," I can say, "Well, keep on moving. You don't have to buy my sweaters. Don't buy them if you don't like them. They're my sweaters and I made them." But this is not that. This is billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars go into this. These are probably the most. I'm pretty sure Battlefront 2 was one of the most, if not the most expensive. Huh?
I don't want to get corrected on billions. Maybe millions. I mean, I don't know if they crossed the $1 billion mark on a game. You think?
Probably not making it, but they definitely make billions in return, especially with microtransactions. I mean, $60 up front for every game, microtransactions. EA is definitely
at the end of the
company.
day, millions, billions, it doesn't matter. The point is that there's a lot more at stake for you. There's people at EA who are reading this and saying the same thing as us. Like,
they're like,
why'd you do this?
It's like, okay, you with your 6-figure, 7-figure salary, Patrick Soderlund, you can go out there and make an ass out of yourself. But whenever we come on,
all because your 13-year-old daughter doesn't understand the difference between Fortnite and World War II.
That's the thing that stood out to me so much is that not only is not the same thing at all. Like the only thing they have in common is that there's guns, and they're shooting them. Also, there's this implication in what he says. He's implying that they want to make a Battlefield game for 13-year-old girls who play Fortnite. Like, is that what your new audience is? Like, what about the people that play Battlefield every year? What about another thing that just is hilarious to me? Okay, he says his 13-year-old daughter plays Fortnite and she can be a girl in Fortnite. Fortnite's rated T.
Right.
Battlefield 5 is rated M.
Yeah.
She's not playing Battlefield 5 anyways.
She
shouldn't be. So, this isn't for her. Patrick, don't let her play it.
Don't you let her
Unless she's going to fork up 60 bones for it. And you but don't.
Originally, before this, he was like, "Oh, I'll get you a copy. I'll get you a free copy of this, little Susie." And now he's like, "I'm sorry, baby, you got to do a lemonade stand because you got to buy this copy yourself. We need all the money we can get."
I saw a really funny YouTube comment on I forgot what it was. It might have been a video I was watching where someone was talking about this, or it might have been on. I think it was actually because I was rewatching the trailer last night, and one of the comments was someone I can't shout them out. I don't remember their name, but they were like, "Hey, Patrick Soderlund, my daughter wants to be an attack helicopter in Battlefield. Can she play as an attack helicopter?" Which low hanging fruit, but classic.
Yeah, it is. The whole. I think we would like to reiterate that this is not an attack on women.
Not at all.
It's not an attack on people with disabilities. It's. I'm okay even if you put it in the game. I'm okay if you say you know what, we'll put a little spin on World War II. It's been done differently. Let's put a woman in there. I can just chalk that up to you did it for a reason. You want to sell sure. Whatever.
This wouldn't have even been a game talk if Patrick Soderlund hadn't come out and made these egregious comments.
But it's the whole thing where it's like it's such you're talking about both sides of your mouth all the time when we care about our customers and gamers are the future or whatever. Like, we're going to put gaming on the map. Gaming is going to be a real media to consume. It's just like movies. It's just like TV. We're going to get you the respect you deserve because we're big money now. It's huge. But also, hey, people who play games are uneducated and they don't know, and all they do is like sit in their basements and play games, and it's just rough. And you just got to pick one. You got to pick one. And I think the best thing to pick would be treat your gaming consumers like people treat movie consumers and consumers of other things. I mean, consumers a lot of times are treated like they're dumb because the baseline is the average consumer is ill-informed. But the whole thing is you want people to buy your stuff and you want people to feel cared about as a consumer. You want people to be able to get behind you as a company. And this is not the way to do it.
Nope. Not the way to do it.
I'm glad that you didn't tell me about this at all, and I'm glad that I had no idea what we were talking about when we came in. But I'm fired up.
Yeah, it's
frustrating.
Fun. I don't really know how much else we can say on it.
You can really get me fired up with interesting gaming news as well as marketing problems.
Yeah.
And this has both.
I love marketing misfires.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yep.
This was probably the most political we've ever been.
Yeah.
The raciest game talk. So thanks for sitting in with us.
Then the next game talk, though, to get a little racier, I will take my shirt off.
Awesome. Yep. Can't wait. I can't promise I'll do that, but yeah.
We both hit in the gym, so maybe we'll show you them pecs.
Popping Peter.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation. Please leave a like on the video if you liked it. If you did spot any women with hook arms in the video, be sure to leave a dislike. Hey, we want to listen. We want to listen to the consumer of our video. If you leave dislikes, we will listen. Leave a comment and telling us if you thought we were offensive. Don't share this with any of your more fragile friends. You know, we don't want to be misconstrued. But share it with
we can
everybody.
handle death threats, but we don't necessarily want them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes, I'm secure enough in myself to handle a death threat. Will is as well. But I mean, nobody wants it.
Yeah.
So we love you very much.